What's up, musicologists? Welcome to Amari Music Talk. I'm Richard Cole, and today I'm going to talk about ways that the estate can unite the fan base. All right, so it's a week after celebration. Great time was had by many. There were some that had a few open and honest complaints about celebration. This kind of rides the wave of a lot of division pretty much since 2016 amongst the Prince fan base. I think things were going pretty consistently. Then we hit like 2022, 23, and we seem to kind of have this divide. Certain releases are favored, some not so much. We're in the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain. We did get some amazing stuff so far. The Purple Rain on 4K. It's brilliant. I've watched it. If you want me to talk about that, leave me a comment. Let me know. We also got Purple Rain mix in Dolby Atmos, which you can listen to on most of the streaming services available. I recommend Apple Music and Tidal for best results. I don't know if Quobuzz has it or not, but definitely check those out. But then there are things like there's a colored vinyl of Purple Rain. It's still like, I think, the 2015 mix, which has garnered a lot of controversy. So, we still don't have an announcement for a box set. So it's a lot to uncover. But I think, there's a lot that can be done to fix it. Like I said, there's also infighting within the estate itself. So that's kind of making some waves as well. But hey, look, before we dive into all of that, be sure to download if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also consider becoming a Patreon supporter. I got to get some original content going on that as well, kind of restart that. But there is lots of bonus material. Become a supporter even at the $1 tier. There's also a 7-day free trial as well. So go on. Check out a lot of that content. There'll be new bonus content, but you can also get early access to this episode. And be sure to visit the richardcolemusic.com website. Help support Amari Communications by purchasing merchandise such as the brand new We Funk t-shirts. Also, my favorite, the brand new Amari Music Talk t-shirts. Everything is designed here by Amari Communications. And there'll be new stuff coming soon, so visit the website and check it out. And thank you. All right, so we've had Prince celebration this week. Again, great time was had by all, but then there were some that weren't too happy that have voiced their honest concerns over social media as well. And I don't know. I think it's just a continuation of kind of that division, especially since we've had these kind of warring factions within the estate, jockeying for control. One side is trying to get another to step down, vice versa. And I think it's affecting a lot of the decision making that has been going on across the board, not just with celebration, not just with the running of Paisley Park, but it's affecting how we get our physical media. It just, to me personally, it feels like a big, huge disconnect. Like the Dolby Atmos mix of Purple Rain doesn't feel connected to the release of Purple Rain on 4K. There's no news of a box set. You have celebration, which, the price points of that thing, I've been switching jobs in the last couple of months and, trying to build Amari Communications, still trying to maintain a household and things of that nature. And, the luxury of going to something like a celebration, it's beyond my scope. Now, the, people that have attended, it's been absolutely wonderful. I'm glad, they got a chance to experience it. Again, a lot of positive feedback. Again, even positive feedback with some constructive criticism. Again, like I said, that price point, especially with the VIP, okay, fine. If you're going to do that, some people were saying they didn't really get enough for the value of it. They may have had a great time, but even a lot of stuff that they did outside of celebration that still was paying tribute to their, personal connection to Prince, or, kind of still celebrate Prince by being there, just keeping that spiritual vibe going. It's, like I said, it's a disconnect. Or what I'm trying to say is that what they were doing independently was done independently. It was not part of the itinerary for celebration. But again, like I said, I think this is kind of that continuation of the division, and that energy it's carrying over. And like I said, we should be really, among other things, because to me, Purple Rain is that catalyst for change. Whether you like the Purple Rain era or not, it's still a part of Prince's legacy, and it's still a part that, had that not been the major success that it was, for those that have come much later, like whether, oh, I love the 90s, oh, I love the 2000s, you don't get there without that major success. It alters that in a huge way. So all of that to say, come up with some ideas that can unite the fan base. Here are 5 ways that the Prince estate can unite the fan base. Let's start with number 1. And number 1 is a defined, unified structure running the estate. Now, when you got parties beefing and suing each other and stuff, it's not unusual. The problem is, usually 9 times out of 10 when that happens, it's because it's the family members themselves that are disagreeing. Probably 2 of the most recent examples, and what I mean recent, say the last 10 years or so, and these things got resolved fairly quickly. And that's the Frank Zappa estate and Tom Petty's estate. And both of those cases you had where families were disagreeing over, how to get, give the rights to this or grant the rights to something else, or a documentary, or how to handle, the archives, how to handle the vault, what to release from the vault, things like that. And those things, like I said, and I say rather quickly, it wasn't overnight. It may have taken maybe a year or 2 or something, but they had to come to an agreement because, yeah, it's egotistical for us to sit back and go and make those sort of armchair quarterback decisions about, oh, well, Prince would have wanted this, or yeah, they should just do this with the estate, or they should just release everything in the vault and do this and do that. And it's like, no, it's an estate is almost, depending on what level, and we're talking this level, we're talking where there's millions of dollars on the table. And at that point, this becomes about business decisions. This isn't about, okay, I got, grandma's house, let's sell it, or I got, so-and-so left this, go spend it. It's not that simple. It's not that simple when you're talking about intellectual property. You're talking, well, which includes trademarks, copyrights, patents. Prince has got patents that the keytar or whatever. That's his patent. That was based on his design. He actually went to, had that filed in Washington, D.C. and applied for a patent. So it's an invention, not necessarily the keyboard, which has been around for ages, but a specific design or whatever his specifications were unique, or he felt that they were unique. Nobody else on the planet had the idea to design a keyboard and implement this and have this, electronic component put into it. His idea, his patent, and nobody can copy it, or if they copy it, then he can sue. It's that level. And I don't think, or at least the ones making these sort of quarterback armchair quarterback comments, y'all ain't at that level. Y'all just ain't at that level. Y'all don't get that. It's, that's in, lawyers and people, people in the business, they understand that it's just not that simple. So, yeah, that type of infighting, it's causing some problems, and it does affect what can get released. Netflix documentary. Maybe that's why, we're not getting an announcement right away of Purple Rain box set. Maybe it led to certain decisions regarding Celebration that has caused a number of people not to be happy with how it turned out. Despite, they enjoyed hearing the unreleased tracks. They liked the live screenings, they got to go to some of the shows, but again, there was something of a disconnect to where, like, well, wait a minute, I still could have gone to this concert and not have to pay the VIP price. I could have just gone to this concert, because it wasn't included. Like, you still had to, I guess, buy tickets for this concert or something. I don't know, but having a unified structure running the estate. So the warring factions need to negotiate on a fair decision, a fair decision-making structure to prevent disagreements that can can't talk today. Warring factions need to negotiate on a fair decision-making structure to prevent disagreements that can affect future releases and events. Also, appoint an impartial spokesperson for the estate while the appointed decision makers focus on the business. Okay, so look, I don't know Londell McMillan. I don't know Charles Spicer personally. For all I know, they could be nice guys. Reading there was an interview I read in a magazine, and he was talking about, this is Charles Spicer, where he was talking about the Associated Artists, them getting reissues at some point. It was where I first read about the possibility of a proper box set for Purple Rain on its 40th anniversary. Like I said, I'm sure they're nice guys, but there are people that have serious complaints about these guys. And for them to kind of clap back at certain things, it's kind of like, on the one hand, it's not solid business, because it's kind of like, you guys run things, they're your decisions, and sometimes you don't have to justify the decisions you make because you're in that position. But at the same time, this is a consumer-based model, and the survival of this estate depends on our consumer dollars. So, that being said, like I said, they're also named in the lawsuits, like I said, with this division. You have certain family members that want them removed. And you have them in charge wanting the family removed as decision makers because they feel that some of the decisions they're making aren't really sound business-wise. And as consumers, we're looking at that and we're wondering, okay. And granted, there's a lot of Prince fans that it's like, no matter what's going on, if something drops, there's our money. And yeah, depending on what it is, like, yeah, Purple Rain 40th anniversary, yeah, my purple ducats are going to purchasing that release. But at the same time, and I'll get into this a little later, there's no time reissues. So that bugs me as a consumer. That's a consumer want. That's a consumer need musically. That it's like, okay, cool getting the Prince stuff, but I like the time. I like those albums. I have the original vinyls, but I want remasters. And all of those things have to get settled. And, therefore, while that's getting settled, in the meantime, and even after it gets settled, have a figure that, they're not prejudiced to one era, or, they embrace, or they understand, even if they have just one favorite era, they understand that this is a legacy and every single part of that legacy. So, yeah, if, we got Purple Rain, then maybe next year, Symbol album gets released, or Musicology gets a box set, something like that. But you need that person to kind of be that liaison between the estate and the fan base, that as a fan base, when that person, tweets or puts something on Facebook or makes an announcement, then we're like, yay, that's my favorite album. Or, all right, cool, y'all releasing that, then maybe my favorite album next year will get released. But you need that kind of figurehead that's not attached to any of that drama to start speaking for the estate from this point forward. Because, like I said, you named in a lawsuit, and yet, you still got to clap back at folks. You still got to do this and do that. And for consumers like myself, that can say, okay, I'm outside of this drama, but that drama is affecting me as a consumer. I'm not looking at everything sideways. And, so just having that individual in place makes it a lot better. So a defined, unified structure running the estate. Number 2, make a deal with associated artists regarding the legacy with Prince. All right, so we've got Morris Day out there, and apparently he still can't use the name The Time, because as I'm looking maybe at his last few appearances, and especially the one during the week of Celebration, Morris Day, and I think some of the clips I've seen, I think Jelly Bean is the only one that's on the drum, that's there. What happened to the rest of the touring band that he had before then? Was Freezer? Just leave me a comment, let me know, what was up with that. But as kind of the clips, because it was somebody's cell phone footage, I think, and it didn't look recognizable to me. I don't think Tori was there, because I think I saw somebody on guitar that was right-handed, and it wasn't Jesse. Where was the original Time? You knew this was coming. And even because I don't know, is Jerry Hubbard still with us? Again, folks, leave me a comment, let me know. But at least the lineup for Purple Rain, St. Paul, Mark Cadenas, if they're still around, could they, have been a part of that? Or like I say, put the original Time, could they have, or at least as many? Like there's been times when you've had Jimmy and Terry show up and jam with them, and Jerome gets up there with them. Where were they? And you got Apollonia in a lawsuit. You got Sheila E. that's locked out. You got Jill Jones that's not really, been asked to be included in too much of stuff. And then on top of that, again, we're fans of these artists, just as much as we're fans of Prince. And with all, again, the disconnect, the kind of phasing out of like his key supporters, because it's like it's down to what the only release we're going to get is like a Carmen Electra release. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. I got a CD that I bought cheap for like barely $1.99 or something. I'm good with that one. But the time, yeah, I want remastered vinyl, CDs, any bonus material, the Apollonia 6 album, Vanity 6 album. Who else? I mean, Sheila E., can we get that remastered? I know there was a reissue of the vinyl a few years ago of the first album. But, some interesting things in her catalog. There's the Romance 1600 concert video. Could we get that as a Blu-ray release? So all of these things, those are hemmed up because there's a disconnect. You're either locking out certain people to where you don't even invite them, or they're quote unquote banned from Paisley Park. Again, we're just as much of fans of those people as we are of Prince. That was still part of a movement, even if it was brief. Like with the time, only 3 albums in. Sheila E., 3 albums in. Vanity 6, only 1 album. Apollonia 6, 1 album. But those albums, even though some were very, very successful, some were only successful to us. But that's the thing. They were successful to us. And again, we would like to have physical material of that as well. And make deals regarding the reissue of those albums. So if they're going to reissue it, if they do have bona fide songwriting credits or co-writing credits, then, cut whatever the deal is on points for those, those reissues. And just have better involvement in the events. Make them the ambassadors of the Prince legacy. They do a fantastic job of that on their own. Case in point, the Purple Rain screening that was in LA a while back. You had Jill Jones, you had Jerome, you had Jimmy Jam, Andre Simone, David Z. And to watch that panel discussion take place, I mean, like I said, all this disconnect with the estate, yeah, it's like I'm supposed to be like really excited. It really took the Dolby Atmos mix of Purple Rain to make me like, oh yes, it's Purple Rain 40th anniversary. I'm feeling the excitement. I'm hyped. I'm ready. Let's bring it. And then the 4K release, that kept me hyped. But it should be more consistent, because now it's kind of like I've experienced those. So now, when is the announcement for the box set? It's a year-long celebration. Sounds like you're stalling for time because of all the disconnect, the lawsuits. Is it hemming this up? Is it causing certain things to be delayed because now we got to fine-tune who's getting what share and how much and all of this stuff? But anyway, getting back to bringing the associated artists into play, they are the ambassadors of the legacy, regardless of what went down business-wise. Yes, it's show business, not friend business. And they're not too far gone to understand that, to quote great Billy Sparks. They still love and respect Prince. They know, they understand, even if it took within hindsight, that was business. It had nothing to do with him as a person or him caring. A lot of times, yeah, there was some bad business. Half of those people he still kept on the payroll for a little while longer. He could have just cut them off like, No, there was some that was still on for 6 months, a year, 2 years, until they figured something out for themselves. And I'll quickly digress to this thing to where you have people in the fan base. Well, it was, yes, Prince is a central figure, but Prince isn't kind of in that class by himself. Like, there's only one Prince. Like, there's only one Michael Jackson. There's only one James Brown. Granted, they were able to pull some talented people into the fold to help them get to where they ended up being as some of the greatest entertainers of our time. But it was because Prince had that single drive. He was chosen to have that single drive. Michael Jackson was chosen to be that, where it comes so easy to them that sometimes they look at everybody else around them and go, well, how come you can't do that? And it's because it's you. You were the chosen one. Hey, I'm just a bass player. Hey, just a keyboard player. I'm just a drummer. Now you might be the best drummer. You might be the best bass player. You might be the best keyboard player, rhythm guitarist, backup singer, whatever, because he didn't choose weak people. But to, expect everybody to go out there and achieve the same level of success is idiotic. I'm sorry. It's like, yes, there was one Prince, but don't sell these other people short. Don't sell Morris short, or Jesse short, or Andre short, or Sheila E. short. They were still able to eke out a career. St. Paul, Jill Jones. These are not weak people. They are very strong and talented in what they do. And, for those that feel like they have just as equal, you already doing what you're supposed to do, and you love and revere and respect these people. But again, the people that like to play armchair quarterback or basement, I'm on Twitter and I'm just going to say Prince did everything and everybody else sucks and all this stuff. That's why you're still in the basement. So there you go. Anyway, getting back, because I'm ranting, forgive the rant, folks. But again, make these associated artists the ambassadors of the Prince legacy. Negotiate what you have to negotiate. And even on the other side, for those that, might be like, hey, I want to get paid top dollar, or maybe more than what you think this position would require. It's not about what you deserve. It's about what you can negotiate. And like I say, bringing them in, because like I said, even without getting paid whatever, or they're not included, or they understand that they're banned from Paisley Park for whatever reason, they're still the ambassadors, because it's us. We remember what it was like listening to The Time, or the Madhouse albums, or Jill Jones album back in the day. We remember what excitement. And yes, by that time we figured out, yes, it was Prince doing all this stuff. It was Prince controlling this and controlling that. But, like I said, we have a soft spot for these albums, and we would like to see that part of his legacy continue. So make a deal with the associated artists. Number 3, make celebration more fan friendly. Lower the damn prices, period. No more VIP stuff. But if you do VIP, give them some physical media to take home. Do like a special compilation of vault tracks or something. Or better yet, because, I know you guys are probably worried about bootlegging and, people selling stuff on eBay and stuff like that. Do this. If, say, you have a super deluxe of whatever album, and kind of getting this idea because of the John Lennon, the Mind Games box set. Go online and see everybody, John Lennon fans, Beatle fans, talking about this box set. I can't afford either version of the box set, but it's kind of because usually with those things, I'm like either holding out for the Prince box set or, the Beatles as a group box set or something like that. But yeah, I wish I had money to buy every box set on earth. But one of the exciting things about this Mind Games set is, there's so many different configurations of it. You got CD box set, the vinyl box set, you got this big artistic cube that's like about $1,000, and you get the vinyl, you get the CD box set, you get there's a book, and then there's a few other things you get with it. There's all kind of promotional stuff you get with it, and it's really exciting. But before that was even released, there was like a special EP that was released on Record Store Day, 4-song EP for Record Store Day. There's currently, and remember Prince came up with this idea, folks, Uncut Magazine has John Lennon on the cover this month. And there's a CD that has tracks of the box, from the box set, that you can get free when you buy the magazine, the physical copy of the magazine. So, all of that to say, if you're going to have VIP stuff, and say, this is one example, you got a super deluxe or box set of a particular album, let's just say Parade for argument's sake, then Celebration, VIP, you announce it. Those that have VIP, they'll get like a special CD or special vinyl of tracks from the box set. You know, kind of like as a little teaser. You can do that. Or you could put together like a special compilation of vault tracks for just from Celebration. Combination of things. Could be studio tracks and live tracks together. Or it could be a whole live concert that may or may not be commercially viable. Give that as an early release to those that attend VIP. And then 2 weeks, month, whatever, release it to the rest of the world. But, you know, make them feel like they're getting bang for their buck. You know, they're appreciative of the listening sessions of vault tracks. They're appreciative of the screenings of unreleased live material. They're appreciative of it. But I think the whole thing this year ended up being such a disconnect or confusion regarding the venues where certain legacy artists were performing, you know, that they didn't have to pay all that money to go see those people perform live, in other words. But do that. Or get rid of the VIP, and then everybody that turns up again gets that special release. You know, guesstimate how many people are attending. You know how many tickets you're selling. So everybody that purchased a ticket, they'll get that, and then some. So you got lower prices, period. No more VIP. You know, have ideas. Make it like a Comic-Con style event. You know, I always credit Michael Dean for coming up with that idea. You know, cosplay contests. You know, who dresses like Prince the best, and they get, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily have to be a CD of all tracks all the time, but maybe some special something. I don't know if there's copies of, a special mix that he did with George Clinton that was actually sold in stores but is out of print. But there's, there's like maybe 7 copies left or something. 1 year, the first 3, runners up get that CD, and the winner gets a cash prize or a free box set of the next box set for free or something. But, just kind of make it more inclusive for the people that attend and make it more special for the people that attended as well. So with that, makes celebration more fan friendly. Number 4, announce your slate of releases, which means no more secrecy with projects, because that is getting on my nerves. There's this, oh my God, there's no, and I think they think they're being clever, like, oh, I'll keep this a secret, and when we drop it, yeah, we do go, yes, exciting, yes, this is great, this is wonderful. But the way that it seems like the estate does it versus how other estates do things, it's like, other estates, their fans are pretty savvy, so they know something's coming, they just don't know what. And kind of once you know what it is, it's just a matter of time when they announce the release. And usually what I've seen is that excitement bubbles for like a month, maybe no later than 2 months. And then, bang, they find the clues, but, their estates still kind of keep it a little bit quiet, but they know that the fans know it's coming. It's just like, okay, well, we got this in position, we're ready to drop it. Here it's kind of like we don't know anything, and it's just getting kind of old, where we don't know. So, again, celebration, use that. Have your attendees, And again, if you want to do the VIP, then if you want to do it like Comic Con, then treat Celebration like damn Hall H at Comic Con. Okay, so your VIP members, they get to go in a little room and they get to see a trailer, and this isn't like making a movie, so it's not going to cost you that much to do it. But a little trailer, saying Parades box set coming, September 10th. 2024, something like that. And everybody goes, yay, whoopee, yahoo, and everybody's excited. We find out over the internet the same day, maybe leak the trailer like, coming September 10th, parade, box set, 4K, re-release of the movie. Do those things. Make it more, like I said, make it more exciting. But announce your slate of releases. A lot of times you won't even have to say what they are initially if you want to kind of keep playing that top secret game, But have a day where you announce like, okay, this is when we're going to drop this box set. This is when we're going to drop this standalone album. For Record Store Day, be prepared for this release. No more secrecy with these projects. And again, you can either do this on Celebration or you can either do it on his birthday prior to Celebration. Hey, it's Prince's birthday. This is what we got coming up. And then maybe Celebration, like I said, those, whether you want to continue VIP or not, then continue to do those things, maybe give more information about it. Initially announced it June 7th, Celebration announced more details, and then once you announce it at Celebration, then drop that extra information on the internet. So even people like me that can't afford to go to Celebration, because it's like Comic-Con, I can't afford to go to Comic-Con, so you know what, when that weekend comes, I'm at my phone like, oh, they dropped this trailer, I'm gonna watch this trailer, so even if I'm not there, I still feel a part of it, because it's like, okay, well, the people that paid the money to come see it, we've taken care of them. They got the first look. They got the exclusive on it. Now we're going to drop it to the rest of the world. And because they know the rest of the world are fans, so that gets us excited to know like, cool. So June 7th, I know to save my money for this box set. I know to save my money for this and that or whatever. Be prepared for whatever. So no more secrecy with the projects. And now we get to the final way that the estate can unite the fan base is have a consistent yearly schedule with consideration for milestones. And this kind of piggybacks off of the fourth topic. You have a diverse fan base. Structure yearly releases around milestones as well as alternating eras for major releases. So for example, if you're releasing a Parade box set, then either earlier that year or later that year, then release a standalone album from another era or an album by an associated artist. So like say in the case of Purple Rain, because this was the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain, I'd say probably the two most important releases should have been a remastered Ice Cream Castles and a remastered Apollonia 6. Now, if you include those albums in the Purple Rain box set, I'm thinking it'd be a lot of extra discs there, plus a live show and a Blu-ray, possibly of the birthday show or the August 3rd, 1983 benefit concert. You've got that, so having maybe those two as a bonus disc, Apollonia 6, the Time Ice Cream Castles, maybe a little bit much more for the price point. But I would say the most logical thing would be to just issue those as standalone releases. Reissue the vinyl, reissue the CD, no extra vinyl or bonus stuff or anything like that. Just release those. That way we'd have a complete accounting of that era, of that 40th anniversary. Because you do have those that are, those albums are important, just as important to the 40th anniversary. Record store day. Have something like the Camille album, kind of little projects like that. Dream Factory, where, I think when Michael Howe was running the archives or kind of running the vault, so to speak, the reason why, say, especially Sign of the Times, why certain tracks weren't included, which was a tragedy because actually the other day I was going to put together, what was that? I was putting together a Camille playlist on my phone, but guess what? There's no Black Album. Not even on Tidal anymore, because I went to go look like, where'd the Black Album go? And it's not even there, so there went that idea. So I've kind of got like this playlist on Apple that's like, yeah, it's short one song, and I don't know what to substitute it with. So there's that. But, the Camille album, the Black Album, those things you can issue out on vinyl for Record Store Day, along, again, with whatever big thing you're going to release that year. And like I said, it kind of spreads it out more, because every time you announce a box set, there's always going to be, I didn't like that. Why are they always focused on that period? Why not do, what they don't like my era? Trust me, you're going to get your favorite album. There's things I'm still waiting on myself. But like I said, for the large part, 1999, Sign of the Times, those were important eras for me. But yeah, I would like a Parade Super Deluxe. I'd like a Love Sexy Super Deluxe. There's some interesting things you could do with either, Batman is kind of in different hands. But it would be interesting if something comes out on the 1989 Batman movie anniversary. It would be interesting if on the print side of things, some kind of Super Deluxe on that somehow. If not, like I said, there's an interesting thing you could do with Graffiti Bridge. Maybe not necessarily the movie, but a Graffiti Bridge box set would be interesting. Actually, that gives me an idea for a future video, which I will do later. But that is that. Have a consistent yearly schedule with consideration for milestones. And that is basically it. 5 good ways that the estate can kind of unite the fan base, and it would also help them as a business because we'd have that consumer excitement rally to, we're all on the same page. Like I said, your era is your era, your album is your album, and there's nothing wrong with that. And, what I like, you might not like, and vice versa. But I think what helps everybody to win is if there was an understanding of what the plan is, because the perception is that, well, on one hand, there's too much focus on Purple Rain, but it's 40th anniversary. That's kind of like, in a way, celebrating us. You're supposed to celebrate a spouse's anniversary, but then you kind of focused on something that has nothing to do with what got you to where you were, or some weird analogy like that. But it. What I've seen from other, especially like maybe Bob Dylan, Frank Zappa, somebody with this like long, decades long catalog, where it's 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s material. I think with Dylan, it's a 60s, or a classic album that gets all the attention one year. And then maybe something from a later era. And I think if I do the research correctly, sometimes it's all in the same year. Sometimes you get a box set from one of his classic albums, and then here's some later period that gets some shine later on in the year. But for the most part, yearly. One year, the classic album. The next year, something from a later era. He's just as controversial as Prince. There's a period that divided his fan base, and it recently, I think, the last couple of years, got a box set treatment. And now people are looking at that. Oh, that period wasn't half bad. It was a musically great period for Bob Dylan. When back then they were hating on it. So that's that. But what do you think about it? Do you have ideas what could unite the fan base? Is it just a matter of just the estate, just getting their act together business-wise, settling the lawsuits, figuring out who's actually in charge of a certain aspect, because Primary Wave, they're not included in all the drama. They're doing what they're supposed to do, which I think, like the Broadway show, their job is to come up with new and inventive ways to promote the music, to promote the legacy, where part of the problem with, I would say, maybe something like a Netflix documentary, or what box set to release, or how to release music going forward, as far as us consuming music to listen to, and not these interesting ways that can bring more people into the fold, like Broadway shows and, making one of those movies, rom-coms or whatever they are, and it's all Prince music as the soundtrack of the rom-com. That's Primary Wave's job on that end of it. But again, what do you think? Leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. And that's going to end this episode. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, become a Patreon supporter, and also download and listen on your favorite podcast platform. So until the next episode, create your day, create your life. Peace.